Hello and welcome to Pedro's Movie Cavern. My name is Pedro. This is my movie cavern, and this is my sequel or follow-up to a film from each genre, favorite film from each genre. It's in response to Blue Roy Movies, who basically kicked off this sort of challenge in a way. I guess you could say it was a challenge. It's not really a challenge. It's just he posted this and there were a lot of comments and a lot of replies. I did a reply. I think Sammy G did a reply. Ollie did a reply. Stuart George did a reply. And Roy's just posted his sequel, if you will, to that first video where he chooses another list of films from certain genres, but changing the genres up. This is really difficult for me to do. So what I have decided to do, instead of choosing favourites from each genre, I have decided to choose recommendations from certain genres. So instead of being like, oh, I'm going to choose Back to the Future 2 as favourite time travel movie, or Die Hard as favourite action movie set in a tower block. So what I've done, the reason I changed that actually was because in a lot of the replies to Roy's video, I saw a lot of the same films coming up. So like Indiana Jones and The Thing and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to move away from showing the same stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people sharing the same movies. Personally, I'd like to see people recommend other movies, which is what I kind of feel my channel is that I'm more of a recommendation channel. But it also gives me a reason to talk bollocks for 2 hours. Well, I say 2 hours, for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So I have chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 movies from 12 different from 11 different genres, because there's one here where I cheated and I added 2 movies for the same genre. So these, like I said, these are going to be genre specific. Some might be sub-genres of a specific genre. So like action, in this video I've got Hong Kong action movies, which you could say is a sub-genre of the main action movie genre. So no Rambo, no Die Hard, no I don't know, The Raid, which I could have put The Raid in, but I decided against that and I went with Hong Kong action movies. So movies that became sort of culty favourites from like the John Woo era of Hong Kong cinema in the 80s. So I've got 2 movies. One of them is a John Woo movie and the other one is not. But first off, I'm going to do adventure. I did adventure in the first video, and I chose Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And the reason I chose that was because I felt that out of all 3 of the original Indiana Jones movies, I felt that that one was a perfect movie. And I wanted to talk about that movie, and I didn't want to put it in action because I wanted to choose a different film for action. So I decided to use adventure as a category or a genre to talk about that movie. This time, I've not got an Indiana Jones movie. It's okay. I am leaving Indiana Jones out now. I've done the indie movies. But the first one is a film, I can't remember what year this is from. 1961, there we go. It is a film directed by William Whitney. And it's written by Richard Matheson. And this is a German DVD of a film called Master of the World. This is Rober, Master of the World. This is based on a Jules Verne, like old Jules Verne sci-fi novel from the late 1800s, I guess you could say. This is a very fun 1960s adventure movie. I say sci-fi, it's not, it's more of adventure. Adventure movie in the vein of things like In Search of the Castaways and Castle at the End of the, not Castle, Island at the Top of the World, and like the Lost World and things like that. And the interesting thing about this film is that it stars Vincent Price as Robert, and also Charles Bronson in a Death Wish role. And it's like I said, it's a lot of fun. It has really good production design on it, and the VFX for 1961 are what you'd expect. They are sort of low budget and low grade, but they work they work well for the film. So this is Master of the World, starring Vincent Price. And in fact, we've got Vincent Price, Charles Bronson, Henry Hull, Mary Webster, and David Frankham. Like I said, it's written by Richard Matheson, based on the book Master of the World by Jules Verne. So, yeah, I like to watch this. Usually I watch it as a double feature. I mean, it goes really, really good with, if I can find it now, with Mysterious Island. So these are really, really good, fun adventure movies. So yeah, Master of the World. Then we have comedy. Now this is a very... to a lot of people, this will be an obscure movie, but to a very select few, this is not that obscure. This is actually a film released by Troma Studios. It's not made by Troma Studios. It was picked up for distribution by Troma in the very early 90s when it was made. This is a very silly film. It's a low-budget movie. But if you like South Park and you like Team America and Orgasmo and Basketball to a degree, you will absolutely love this film. But like I said, bear in mind, this is a very low-budget movie. This was essentially a student film, and it's Cannibal the Musical. This is written and directed by Trey Parker. 5 years, I think it was, before South Park, and this was made, I think it was made during the time he was at university with Matt Stone, the University of Colorado, where they were at film school and stuff, and it's where he met Matt Stone. It actually says, I don't know if you can read that, it says starring Juan Schwartz and Matt Stone. Juan Schwartz is actually Trey Parker. But yeah, if you watch this, you will see certain things and you will hear tiny little motifs of music that will be recognizable from the TV show South Park. But yeah, a lot of the humor is very South Park based, and you can see why they went on and became sort of these multi-millionaire, award-winning like comedy writers. And yeah, this is such a good film. It's a musical as well, so it covers the musical genre. But yeah, comedy, Cannibal the Musical. It's the story of Alfred Packer, who is quite a well-known historical figure in Colorado. He was a man who was out on an expedition with a group of other people, and something happened, they got stuck, and he became a cannibal. So that's why it's called Cannibal the Musical. Trey Parker plays Alfred Packer. He has a horse. There is a one-eyed cyclops. There are Indians who have teepees but are played by Japanese people, and they don't make the distinction that they are Japanese people. It's very, very silly. And the soundtrack is phenomenal as well. It has songs like Hang 'em High, Let's Build a Snowman, When I Was on Top of You. And if you listen to the end of South Park, right at the end credits, there's a bit of music that goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, that is the sort of main musical motif from the song Spadoinkle Day, which is the opening song from Cannibal the Musical. This is Trey Parker's kind of... I don't know how to explain it. It's just a very silly movie, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, Cannibal the Musical. Fucking love that film. It has actually had a release. I think it was Vinegar Syndrome, but I'm not 100% sure. So don't quote me on that. I would love to get that on 4K. It was shot on 16mm film as well, so a 4K maybe remaster or a 2K remaster on HD would be very, very welcome. But yeah, I love that movie. It's very silly. Next up for drama. Now, I said in the last video that I struggled to find movies that I could sort of conceivably place in drama because I don't watch a lot of dramas. It's not a secret that I'm not a huge drama person. I like a couple, but I'm not going to put like The Shawshank Redemption or Green Mile in because everybody's going to do that. So I struggled. I think my last one I put in a comedy drama. I can't. I have to go back and rewatch it. But while going through my DVDs, I spent about an hour and a half this morning searching through all my DVDs and my Blu-rays that were currently accessible to try and locate some movies to actually talk about. And then I spotted this one and I forgot how much fun. I say fun. It's not fun because it's a drama, but how good and how massively underrated this film is. It's the movie Pleasantville, starring Tobey Maguire, Jeff Daniels, Joan Allen, William H. Macy, J.T. Walsh, and Reese Witherspoon. This is from the co-creator of Big and the movie Dave. Now, this is a really, really nice film. There is nothing offensive in this movie. In fact, I don't even know why it's a 12. Maybe there's some language in it. But it's a very well made movie, very, very well made movie, and a very well acted movie as well. It's a movie about two modern teenagers who find themselves transported into a 1950s black and white television show, and the things that they do in the show cause a ripple effect in the black and white TV world, where certain things start to happen which turns the TV show from black and white into colour. So when people kind of embrace certain things, they might change colour, or they might notice that like in the black and white world there is a bush that is now green, but everything else is black and white. And in the case of Joan Allen's character, she kind of experiences an awakening in her like femininity and her sexuality and stuff, and she changes from being this kind of stood upon 1950s housewife to this bright coloured I don't know, like it's really difficult to explain without actually showing you the clip, but she's this big standout in this black and white world because she forms a relationship with a painter played by Jeff Daniels, and she falls in love with art, and because she has now experienced something other than making sure the dinner is on the table by 5 p.m. when the husband comes home, she starts to change colour. She starts to go from black and white to rosy cheeks, and like, yeah, it's a gorgeous movie and it's incredibly well done. But yeah, Pleasantville is really, really good, and I think it's massively underrated. I can't remember who directed it. It was written... Oh, there we go. Gary Ross. Written and directed by Gary Ross. John Lindley did the cinematography, and who else is in this? We have Jeff Daniels, Joan Allen, William H. Macy, J.T. Walsh, Don Knotts, and Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, so if you can find a copy of Pleasantville, I highly recommend checking it out. It is a really nice film. Like I said, there's nothing offensive in this. And I also think, if I remember rightly, because it's been some years since I saw this, but I think Paul Walker is in this as well, in a very small, early, Fast and the Furious role. But yeah, really good. Really like this movie. Pleasantville. Pleasantville. I am going to take a coffee break. The coffee's here. Cannot live without a caramel latte. So then we move on to science fiction, I guess, or futuristic science fiction. And this is the film I would love to get this on Blu-ray. I would absolutely adore to get this on Blu-ray. This was one of the first VHS tapes I bought personally myself. The other one being Army of Darkness. Bought them both at the same time. I knew nothing about this movie. I liked the cover and I liked the idea of the name. And I watched it, then I watched it again, then I watched it again. And I fucking loved it. And it is the movie No Escape, starring Ray Liotta. And this is also under the title Escape from Absalom, which I really don't like that title. I prefer this title. But this is about a soldier in the near future who, in the opening credits, kills his commanding officer while on parade and ends up in prison, where he is transported to an island which is run between two warring factions, one being sort of like the post-apocalyptic type of people led by, I think it's Stuart Wilson, who appeared in Hot Fuzz, and the other bit being run by Father, who was played by Lance Henriksen. And Father runs a sort of peaceful commune of people, of survivors or prisoners who just want to live out their life. They know they're there for life, so why not make the most of it and just have a peaceful life? But obviously there's a war between the two different factions, and Ray Liotta finds himself sort of stuck between the two in a sort of weird fistful of dollars, Yojimbo style situation, even though it's not as much leaning in that direction, but it does give sort of the same sense, the same vibe as something like Yojimbo and Fistful of Dollars. But this is very, very good. I absolutely love this movie. Ray Liotta is great. Who else have we got in it? We have Lance Henriksen, Stuart Wilson, Kevin Dillon, Kevin J. O'Connor, Michael Lerner, and Ernie Hudson. Music by Graham Revell, and it's directed by Martin Campbell, who is quite well known. He is well known. What did Martin Campbell write or direct? Does he do the Bond movies? Or am I thinking of someone else? I think it's Martin Campbell. Martin Campbell did Casino Royale, did GoldenEye, and The Foreigner. I think it's Martin Campbell, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I might be very, very wrong. But yeah, No Escape. Absolutely great movie. Would love to get this on Blu-ray. This is the old UK Pathé DVD, which I have had in my collection for many, many, many moons. And yeah, it's not just a plain disc. But this is why I swear by DVD. Shut up, phone. I swear by DVD because it is a phenomenal format which opened up a lot of movies to someone like me, and I'm guessing a lot of viewers here. And it kind of pisses me off when people are just like shit all over DVDs. Like, oh, there's not 4K. It's not Blu-ray. It's like, yeah. I mean, I've got a fuck ton of Blu-rays and I've got some 4Ks, but every now and then I go through my DVD collection and I'm like, I don't have this on Blu-ray. I could watch this now. I've got it there. Like when I was looking through my bags of DVDs to try and find some films for today, I saw films in there that I haven't seen for years, and I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'll watch that. When I get a chance, I can sit down and watch that. So I saw like Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. I haven't seen that in ages. I found my DVD copy of Pretty Woman. I love Pretty Woman. I could watch Pretty Woman. Like, having a DVD collection is one of the greatest things. Like, I look under my TV. I was looking for some Hong Kong movies, and I found Tiger on the Beat, Once a Thief, City on Fire, Full Contact, some fantastic heroic bloodshed action movies from Hong Kong. And so that's why I always like swear by DVD as a format. It was incredible. And they don't take up as much room as VHS. Now, I'm not a fan of VHS. I was a fan of VHS when VHS was a thing. And it was the only thing we had, but the nostalgia for VHS doesn't hit me the same as it hits other people. Like, I would rather watch the DVD of a movie than the VHS of a movie, because it's most likely going to be cropped or changed from the original aspect ratio to a 4:3 aspect ratio. And obviously you've also got the lower quality on a VHS tape. But that's just a personal thing. Again, like, being a fan of DVDs is also a very, very personal thing. I love 4Ks, I love Blu-rays, but there's something about DVDs, which was where my collecting really did start. And that's kind of, that holds a big place in my heart, DVD as a format. Which leads me on to another DVD. And this is for Thriller. Now, this is a film, I knew nothing about this movie until I saw the DVD cover, and I was like, well, that's got an okay cast. Like, I quite like Patrick Dempsey. I saw him in a lot of 80s comedies, and I didn't really figure him as a thriller person when it comes to movies like that. I always saw him as the geeky guy from the high school comedies of the 80s. But in this film, he plays a student who is hired to drive a car from one side of America to the other side of America, but he witnesses a mob killing and then finds himself on the run with the mafia after him, and it's a movie called Run. Now, this, like, I've had this a few years now, and I've seen it quite a few times, and every time I watch it, I enjoy it. So it's one of those films that you can go back to. Now, I didn't know this film existed until I bought the DVD, and this is why, again, I champion films, I champion a format like DVD, because this cost me a total of about £3. Now, if I wanted this on Blu-ray, if it's not released on Blu-ray, then the DVD will suit me fine. But this is such a fun, thrilling, like, chase movie, and it kind of changed my perspective on Patrick Dempsey as an actor. I mean, he went on and did just random stuff in the 90s, and then just did a few more of those. I suppose he did start in Grey's Anatomy and then became this sort of hunky kind of guy, but I still see Patrick Dempsey as the nerdy next door neighbor from Can't Buy Me Love. But this is a really fun movie. I think it's Robert Loggia as well. Kelly Preston, Patrick Dempsey. I love it when they don't put the full cast on the back. It's directed by Jeff Burrows and written by Dennis Chirac and Michael Blodgett. Cinematography by Bruce Surtees, so it looks good. And yeah, a good little, like, chase thriller that from I think it's 1990. Yeah, I wouldn't say 1990, but it's through Touchstone Pictures, which means we'll never ever see this on Blu-ray because it's now owned by Disney. But yeah, if you can track down a copy of Run, check it out, because it is a lot of fun and it is a good chase thriller. Patrick Dempsey's really good, and Kelly Preston is just such a tragedy that she passed away, because she was gorgeous. Then we hit the cheat section. Now, the reason I cheated here was because I couldn't choose one or the other. So this is my Hong Kong action movie section. And the first one I'm going to choose is a film by Ringo Lam. And it's a film that is quite influential on a certain director's debut movie. And it's the movie City on Fire. Now, this is the Hong Kong Legends D'Agostino release. These came free. I say free, they weren't free. You paid $9.99 for a magazine many years ago, and you got the DVD with it. They did the same with the John Wayne movies and the Clint Eastwood movies. But they did a Hong Kong Legends one. Now, I do actually have the Cine Asia, not Cine Asia, I have the sell-through release of City on Fire, but it's under my bed in a box, and I cannot get the box out because it's stuck. So I found this version of it. But City on Fire is influential on Tarantino's first ever theatrical movie, Reservoir Dogs. I mean, he's been kind of accused of ripping off City on Fire. But I don't see it that way, because all he really does is he homages the last like 10 minutes or so of City on Fire. The rest of the movie is nothing like it. But this is about a police officer who kind of gets involved with a group of robbers, or a gang of thieves, and becomes embroiled undercover with them. Yeah, it's just really, really good. And like, I think Ringo Lam is kind of underrated when people talk about Hong Kong action directors. I think when you talk about Hong Kong action cinema, you always automatically think of John Woo, which is fair because John Woo kind of put it on the map with the movies that he made. But the movies that Ringo Lam made, like City on Fire, like one that's just got released by Eureka, called The Adventurers. I think Wild Search, maybe? Yeah, so Wild Search, again, another Chow Yun-fat movie, directed by Ringo Lam. I mean, the dude was like churning out like great movie after great movie. And yeah, so this one, City on Fire, highly recommend checking this out. If you like Reservoir Dogs and you like heist movies, but you also like the sort of heroic bloodshed era of Hong Kong cinema, then yeah, City on Fire is right up there. And the reason I cheated and added 2 is because I wanted to add The Killer by John Woo. This movie did a lot for me as a movie fan when I first saw it. It sort of... And I spoke about this actually on Chatting Movies, the first Chatting Movies video actually, where I kind of went in one direction and then changed it halfway through. But the reason I talked about this was because there were movies that influenced my cinema journey. Jodie's just put up a really good video about movies that kind of influenced her cinema journey as well. But this was... It made me look at action in a different way, in a different light. I grew up on action movies like Rambo and Die Hard and like Commando and Predator, those type of movies. But this, I saw this before I saw Hard Boiled and before I saw Bet Tomorrow and Bullet in the Head, which, by the way, I actually have Bullet in the Head. It's down there. This just showed me that action movies can be something completely balletic and almost musical in its execution, but it can also be visceral and it can be chaotic, but also you see every single thing that is happening. That is the majesty and the genius of John Woo as a filmmaker. It's just, yeah, The Killer is amazing. I'm not going to go through the plot. I'll just run through it quickly. Chow Yun-fat plays a hitman who, at the beginning, during a hit, accidentally blinds a nightclub singer, feels guilty about it, and then feels that he has to protect her from gangsters and shit, while there is also an undercover cop, played by Danny Lee, who is on his trail, and it all erupts in a gigantic shootout in a church, and it is absolutely balletic and absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, The Killer, absolute incredible movie. Horror movie now. I couldn't think of what to put for horror movie, and because I sold a lot of my horror movies years ago, I didn't want to put The Evil Dead, because originally I was going to put Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness in. But then I thought, a lot of people are going to choose Evil Dead because they're great fucking movies, so why wouldn't I choose Evil Dead? I could have put Wolfen, not really my favourite movie. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Demons. Films that I enjoy, but films that I wouldn't... I say films that I enjoy, and just mentioned Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is my favourite horror movie. But I assume a lot of people would do the same thing. And the same with something like The Thing. I mean, I could have chosen Tremors, but it's not a horror movie. It's more of just a monster comedy, I guess. Or something like... Videodrome. I like Videodrome. It's not a film I return to as often as I would return to something else. That's fucking redundant, wouldn't it? So, I've chosen a film that is probably not the highest rated from this franchise, but it was my introduction to this character. In 1996, I think it was 96. I think it was 1996. But this came out at a time where there was the whole Dimension Films sort of renaissance of slasher movies, if you know what I mean. Scream had come out in 96. And then you had films like... I can't remember what it's called now. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Urban Legends. And just a litany of sort of mediocre slasher movies. But this one kind of stood out to me when I watched it, and it was I think it was a fairly decent hit when it came out. And it's Halloween H2O. This was my first introduction to the character of Michael Myers. I saw this before I saw John Carpenter's original Halloween, which I rate, but I don't think it's as good as everybody makes it out to be. Jamie Lee Curtis is alright. I think the later... well, that's a lie. I quite like Halloween 3, and it's got nothing to do with Michael Myers. But I think the 90s Dimension era of slasher movies with like this, and I think it's... No, that would have been New Line. But we had that kind of new style of slasher with Freddy vs. Jason and Jason X, and you've got Halloween H2O. Halloween Resurrection is absolute gash. But yeah, there's something about this really, really cool 90s slasher movie with a cool hip 90s cast, but also brought back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. But you've got Josh Hartnett, who did this and then went on and did The Faculty. You've got Michelle Williams, Dawson's Creek Michelle Williams, LL Cool J. Who else we got in this? Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, appears in this movie. Adam Han Bird, I don't actually know who that is. Adam Arkin was in it as well. Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, who would then go on and star in She's All That and have a reoccurring role in Prison Break as Gretchen. But yeah, I mean, LL Cool J's in this as well. But yeah, there was something about this that really kind of... It pumped me up when I saw it for the first time in the 90s. Also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this at the beginning. I think he just finished doing Third Rock from the Sun. So that was my Halloween selection. I've got 4 movies left, which is 4 different genres. And this is going to be a fairly long video. Fuck it, might as well. I'm going to pause for 2 seconds and I'll return shortly. And we have returned. Right, so we are 4 films left. I'm going to go with action now. Proper mainstream action. We all wanted this on 4K, and it came out. And it's fucking awesome. And it's James Cameron's True Lies. This film is bad motherfucking ass. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm a Jamie Lee Curtis fan. I've realised that over the last few years. I enjoy Jamie Lee Curtis in movies. But True Lies, I saw this for the first time on Laserdisc in 1995 in a double feature with Speed on Laserdisc as well at my uncle's house. Fucking great time that was. There is something inherently badass about this movie. I don't know whether or not it's just like James Cameron's eye for direction and action, or just Arnold Schwarzenegger being insanely cool in this movie, Jamie Lee Curtis being insanely hot in this movie, but also Tia Carrere's in it. You've got Tom Arnold in Tom Arnold's best role to date. In fact, he was better in True Lies than he was as a husband to Roseanne. Who else is in this as well? Art Malik as well, who would go on to star in Holby City. How you go from True Lies as the main villain to becoming a doctor in Holby City. I suppose you're a working actor, you're a working actor. It is what it is. But the stunt work in this is insane. The VFX in this are insane. Arnold Schwarzenegger's line delivery is really good. Harry Tasker is a really, really good character. You've also got Bill Paxton in this as the car salesman who pretends to be a secret agent to try and have sex with Jamie Lee Curtis's character. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's such a good action movie. And not a lot of people will know this, but True Lies is actually a remake of a French movie called La Totale. Same as there's another film as well called Wrath of Man, the Jason Statham movie, which is also a remake of a French movie. But yeah, True Lies, man, what can I say? It's really, really goddamn good. And it's James Cameron's best 90s movie. No, it's not best 90s movie. That's Terminator 2. What am I fucking talking about? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's last great movie of the 90s. 1994, True Lies. And that's not to say anything bad against Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that movie, he was absolutely fucking nailing it. He was, like, you'd had Terminator 2, then Last Action Hero, which isn't the best movie ever made. I think a lot of people would agree with that, but it is a fun movie. It's not Shane Black's strongest screenplay, but it is very well directed by John McTiernan. But then you had fucking True Lies, man. The 90s, Arnold in the 90s was like... Well, let's have a look. So we went from Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2, Last Action Hero, True Lies, followed that with Junior and Jingle All the Way and Eraser and The Sixth Day. Was there anything in between Eraser and The Sixth Day? I can't remember. And then he topped it all off with Collateral Damage. And that was pretty much it then. It was dead. But gone are the glory days of the Schwarzenegger movie. But it is what it is. Comic book movie now. I didn't want to choose a Marvel movie, so I didn't. And I'm sick of all comic book movies being referred to as just Marvel movies or DC movies when there are a lot of other comic book movies. Like The Crow is based on a comic book. This film is based on a comic book. There are other movies that are based on graphic novel. Road to Perdition is based on a graphic novel. History of Violence is based on a graphic novel. So the one I chose is based on a comic created by Todd McFarlane. Now, this isn't the best movie ever made, but I love it. I think it's very, very cheesy, but also a lot of fun to watch. And it is Spawn from 1997, starring Michael Jai White as Spawn, or... Shit, what was his name? Fuck me, I can't remember his name now. Al Simmons, there we go. Al Simmons is a hitman for a, I want to say gangster, but he's not. He's like a crime businessman played by Martin Sheen, who double crosses Al. Al then gets killed and sent to hell, where he is given powers to sort of... It's kind of The Crow, but evil Crow. You get revenge for whatever happened between him and his boss, but he is watched over by a man called the Clown, played by John Leguizamo, but also by a sort of angel called... I want to say Cagliostro, but I don't think that's his name, but he's played by a British actor called... Nicole Williamson, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't remember. But it's also got D.B. Sweeney in it, and Teresa Randall. The visual effects in this are horrendous. Like, they are very, very bad. There are moments where it's very good, like the cloak and everything, but the majority of the CGI in this is not good. And I'm intrigued to see what it looks like on 4K, because apparently Arrow have announced it. But I am a fan of dark comic book movies, like Blade and the Batman. Not the, like... I like Tim Burton's Batman movies. I'm not massively fussed on Joel Schumacher's Batman movies, because I think they're too colourful, kind of harkens back to the old 1960s Adam West Batman, which is massively cheesy, but I like dark, gritty comic book movies, which is why I think the Crow is probably up there, along with the first Blade movie, and Spawn. Spawn is cool. Like I said, it's not the best movie ever made, but it's an enjoyable movie, and it's fun to watch. So, comic book. Yeah, I didn't want to include anything from Marvel or DC because, like Thunderbolts is the 36th Marvel movie, or 37th Marvel movie since Marvel Studios started, and what the fuck's going on with DC? So I'm going to wrap this up now because we've got 2 left and I've been doing for 40 minutes. Crime. Now this could be crime and noir, but I've got a noir film to talk about anyway. So, yeah, I saw this film for the first time when I bought this. No, I didn't. I saw this film for the first time when I bought a box set that had 3 Stanley Kubrick movies in it. One being Paths of Glory, Killer's Kiss, and this film. And now this film stood out to me because, 1, it's got Sterling Hayden in it, and 2, it's a hugely influential crime heist film. And it's Stanley Kubrick's The Killing from 1956. And it follows a group of criminals who are hired to pull off a heist at a race course, much like Beverly Hills Cop 2, which I'm assuming is homage in The Killing in that movie. But yeah, this film kind of blew my mind. It's shot in a very weird documentary style. It has a voiceover narration. There's another film as well that stars Sterling Hayden that came out around about the same time, or maybe a little bit earlier, called Asphalt Jungle, which is a fantastic heist movie and another good noir movie. But yeah, there's something about this. This just stood out to me. It's got a great cast in it. It's got Sterling Hayden, Elisha Cook Jr., Mary Windsor, Vince Edwards, Colin Gray, Ted DeCorsia, screenplay by Stanley Kubrick, with additional dialogue by Jim Thompson, which is very, very cool, because Jim Thompson was a great crime screenwriter, based on the novel Clean Break by Lionel White. I'm sorry, I've got no light behind me, so that's why my glasses are off. Clean Break by Lionel White. Yeah, very cool, very awesome movie. This is the Arrow Academy release. It does have the reversible artwork, but I really do like old artwork more than I like newer artwork. So, yeah, crime movie number 1 is Stanley Kubrick's The Killing. A really good, influential heist movie. And then finally we get to my last movie, which is a film noir movie, which is the movie This Gun for Hire from 1942, starring Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake, as well as Robert Preston. This is a film about a assassin who is double-crossed by his client, played by Veronica Lake, who was trying to get one over or something on her corrupt boss, played by Robert Preston. And it's essentially a film about revenge, but it's a hitman revenge noir movie, and it's a very cool film. It's not hugely long. I think it runs at it's an hour and 38 minutes. It was a little bit longer than I thought it was. But it's really, really good, stark black and white photography, directed by Frank Turtles, from a novel by Graham Greene, screenplay by Albert Maltz and W.R. Burnett, produced by Richard Blumenthal. It doesn't tell me who the cinematographer is, so I will have to look that up, but I'm not 100% sure who that would be. But yeah, This Gun for Hire is a very, very cool 1940s noir movie. I could have chosen something like The Third Man, but The Third Man is a vastly known movie. I didn't want to choose that. I do have the noir collection just up there that has some fantastic cracking movies in there. I could have chosen something like Double Indemnity or Touch of Evil, but I thought I'll go with This Gun for Hire. It's a very cool little movie. Great performance by Alan Ladd as Raven, who is the hitman of the film. Veronica Lake is also very good as Ellen, who is the main fatale, and also Robert Preston is Robert Preston, and Robert Preston is great in usually everything. So there we go. That is the last one for genre. This is film noir. This is This Gun for Hire, and that is the video. That is 45 minutes. Like I said, this was more a recommendation for a film from each genre than a favorites video, because it was really hard for me to find different favorites from specific genres, and I just thought, well, I'll just do recommendations on some movies. There's some classics, there's some underseen movies, there's some like obvious ones, but yeah, I thought I'd just kind of change it up a bit and add some extra genres or lesser known movies, I guess. But yeah, my name is Pedro. This is Pedro's Movie Cavern. I am done. I'm sweating. Bucket's boiling in this room. And I'm going to finish my coffee and have a cigarette, because I've got to do that, mate. You know what I'm saying? So I will give you a salute, throw up the peace sign, and tell you I am be back. So that is goodbye. See ya.